Well, hello and welcome to another show. What I'm going to be talking about in this show is setting up a WISP from pretty much from the beginning to the end, and you just repeat as you get clients. First thing we need to do after you get your backhaul, after you get your connection that you're going to use to provide internet to your network. Wherever you may be, you have to check around and see what connection you have available to be able to distribute it out to your clients. Some areas is going to have more than one. Some you're going to have to find a needle in a haystack find one that's willing to give you a connection. So the first thing we need to go over is how to set up the router once you get your connection. And setting up the router and the AP to get started, this is just the basics just to get started. There's other things you can do, like fail safe if you got two connections. If your main one actually drops out for whatever, the other one automatically kicks in and takes over. That's not in this video. This is just after you get your connection, setting up the router, and then setting up an AP to that router. And then I do believe next week I'm going to be setting up a CPE that will connect to that AP. At least that's what I'm planning on. So let's go ahead and get into setting up the router itself. All right, let's see if we can get this router set up. Let's get the browser and go to 192.168.1.1. And the default is UBNT, UBNT. Asking for a new password. And it's probably going to ask for a high secure password. We're going to use capital THE. Let's see. THE big. I keep putting space in there like I'm trying to type something. The Big Bird House 8 explanation is what I'm going to put in there just to use this. Just to get through this. Something I can use temporary here. All right. Help us improve. Leave that choice up to you if you want to send them data about the connection, so they can troubleshoot things or see patterns or whatnot of the equipment itself. So we're just going to say no on that for right now. Router is in default configuration. Do you want to start with the basic setup? That's all this video is, just the basic, and it will get you set up to start setting up for a WISP. So let's go ahead and say yes. Then we have here the configuration, the default. Enable the default firewall, enable the default IPv6 firewall. And the default is port 0, DHCP. Username provided by the server provider. And come on down, only use one LAN. Secondary LAN ETH1. LAN ports ETH2, 3, and 4. So we're going to use one LAN. So we'll go here, and here's your IP address that the router will be handing out. You can leave it as default. Depends on what other equipment you're going to have, because like the AirCube is the exact same thing. So I recommend to change it to, and then come down here and say apply. Replaced and reboot the required for the configuration, because now the port 1 through 4 is going to actually hand out IP. So we're going to have to say yes, restart. And now I have to plug in the computer to port 1, 2, 3, or 4. Now, since I changed it to 192.168.2.1, I will have to come up here and change this to 192.168.2.1. And that should get me back into the router with the new IP that I have given it. Now we'll just put in the credentials here. And as you see, we are back in the router. Just a basic firewall's IP is set. Now to get this router to do the traffic shaping and suspension of clients, you have to get this set up in the UISP software by putting in the credentials of your software itself, which is name it. You can name it whatever you want to name it. Maybe the certain location that you're at. And let's see, where is, you put in the UISP key right here. That's basically all you need to do to the router to get it to work in UISP and be able to control your CPEs with the router. As I mentioned, controlling the speed with the speed packages that you have set up in UISP, and suspend somebody's account if payment is not made, or changing them from one package to another. It will also do that for the IP that goes to that CPE. So let's get over to, let's see, next would be setting up the AP. All right, let's get over to setting up the AP, which you can plug it into port 1, 2, 3, or 4. But if you are powering the Edge Router X with a PoE, you can turn on the PoE on port 4 and feed both, as long as you have a PoE that puts out enough wattage to feed both. You have to watch that, because not all APs will come with enough power in their PoE to feed the router and itself. So you have to watch that. So let's get over there and set up the AP. And again, this is just the basics, just to get it to work. All right, here we are setting up the AP. All right, let's get into this. And the default for the AP is 192.168.1.20. Now you have to read in the booklet that comes with it, telling you have to set your network adapter to 192.168.1 point something other than 20, so it would be in the same network, same as the Edge Router X. And the Edge Router X is 192.168.1.1. So if you set your adapter 192.168.1.50, be able to log into both. So let's get into this. And the default, let's see, go to countries, we go to United States, you agree, and then continue. Then you set up your password, which is UB&T. I'm going to use that as the name. And I'm going to type in the same password as I did the other one. Just to get this done here. All right. Now, I always like to start down here at the bottom to get through it. It shows all the different things that you have. Um, alignment tools, discovery, site survey, and all that good stuff that you can use after you get it connected. Stuff that I use here, pretty much anything in here is really not changed as I use the way I do it, except the name itself of the product itself. I may put in the startup date, but other than that, pretty much everything in here is as it is when you set it up as default. Same with this tab here, services is all as it is. In the network, I like to set it up as DHCP. I like to set up as bridge mode. It will get its own IP, but it will not hand out IPs. And I leave it as 192.168.1.20. So if I need to log back into it when it's offline, I don't know the IP for it, I can just plug this into a computer, set my network adapter to the 192.168.1.50, and then type in the browser this address and be able to log into it and see what's going on. And then we get into the wireless tab. It's going to be access point, as you see here. This is going to be access point. You turn it on. It's going to be point to point. No, it's going to be point to multiple point, and it's going to tell you how many clients you can roughly get on this device in that mode. And this says it's what, 50 clients that you can roughly get on this. Depends on the speed that you have and how many clients and how much speed each one of them clients has. And set it depends on how what speed package you have and everything, and how congested your area is. Usually you can set it on 40 and you'd be fine. As far as the frequencies that it uses, I leave on the default, and then if I have issues with it, then I come back and actually check and see with the check with the AirView, I do believe, the tool right here, that you can check and see what frequencies are used the most in that area that this AP can actually see, and you can set it on a different frequency. You can set the power that you want on the AP, or you can go down here and turn on automatic power control, and it will keep it as it should be to be able to reach all the clients according to whatever you set this on. I like just to leave it right in the middle and let it go. Sometimes I have to come back and turn auto off and actually adjust the power. More people you get closer to each other, more more chance you may have to do a adjustment on the power itself and turn auto off, from my experience. Now the SSID is the ID that you be looking for on the CPE to log into to make a connection. And when you get to your CPE, you look for this SSID, and then you have to put in your password, whatever password you want to put in here to use. And to be sure, one client cannot stream their video from their phone to somebody else's TV. You need to be isolated from client to client. So you need to come down here and turn on client isolation so they cannot see one another. So somebody in apartment or home number A or letter A cannot see B, and B can't see A. Only thing they get is the internet and whatever else is on their router, the AirCube or whatever router that you actually using for the clients. Then when that is all said and done, you just come down here and hit Save Changes. It takes a little bit of time to actually wait for it to make all the changes. All right, you see that it's all changed now. You still need one more. This is the main tab when you see clients actually starting to connect to it, all over here. But another one you need to do to get it into your UISP is go right up here, turn that on, or actually add a key first. You add your key here and then say OK, and it will start going to the internet and connect to your UISP, where you have to adopt it and set it up according to where the location you have your AP located at. That is the bare minimum basics that you set up to actually get it to start running a WISP. Now, all the other configurations, you can really tweak it out and all, but it's not necessary. I have not used all the other tweaks and stuff in there. Just to do basic, to set up a router, set up an AP, and then set up a CPE, and you're ready to go. It's really that simple. Yeah, it's that simple with this equipment with Ubiquiti. Now you can, like I said, you can tweak it out with some other things on there, like you can have a second SSID fallback. If one drops out, you can have it so to pick up another on some of the equipment. You can have two backhauls in case one drops out. If you're lucky to have two different ones you have available to use in your area, but that will depend on where you're at. Not everybody gets lucky and blessed with two backhauls at the same location. And I've seen people actually use Starlink as a fallback on their routers. In some areas, it may be against TOS of Starlink. Some places may not be. I don't know. I haven't read Starlink's TOS terms of service, if that's allowed or not. I don't know. That's something you would have to go to their site and scroll and read all the terms of service. That is all it takes to set up a router and an AP to get a WISP system started. Next week, I will be showing how to set up a CPE and an AirCube to connect to the AP. Leave your comments in the bottom if you got any questions or anything, and I'll see if I can address them and get you an answer. If I don't have it, I'll find it somewhere. I don't know it all, but I know enough to get a network put together. And I got, I think, now 12 different locations that I actually handle. Well, actually, the UISP software actually handles it. All I could do is install and a little bit of troubleshooting. After you install it, the software takes over and does what it does. I mean, it will stop somebody's internet if they don't pay. It turns it back on when they pay. I mean, it's a phenomenal software. But I will be doing a install tomorrow, so look for that video. It's going to be nice getting back out in the field and actually installing. I still got to get all my stuff back into the vehicle to be set up to do an install, which I'll be doing after this show. I got to set up the CPE, I got to set up the AirCube, set up their account. So pretty much that saves a lot of time when you go out to set somebody up. Go ahead and have it, if you know what tower or the AP it's going to be connected to, if you got multiple ones in the same location, be sure you know which one it is and go ahead and set it up for that one. Then when you get there, all you got to do is set up the CPE, point it, run the wire, plug it in, and then activate their account. Pretty much that's going to be it. You don't have to sit out there with your laptop, log in, do download of any firmware, and then set up which tower, and set up all this stuff in the CPE, and then set up the router, the SSID that you want to give it, the password, all that. Go ahead and do all that before you get out there. So pretty much it's going to be plug and play and activate account. It used to take me an hour to go out there and set up just one client because I had to do all that. Now, the quickest I ever done one is 20 minutes. I put up a 10-foot pole, ran the wire, plugged it in all, and 20 minutes after I started, they had internet. I mean, that was moving like crazy to get that done. But it saves a lot of time. And I used to take like 4 or 5 different CPEs, 4 or 5 different air cubes and stuff with me. Now I set up the equipment before I go, 1 or 2 days before. That's the only equipment I take. Take my tools, take my ladder, and take the the wire and stuff like that, and my little bucket coffee container with some ends on it and a box if I need it with a lock. Just the bare minimum just to do that one install. But a lot of things you can do to make it a lot faster. Like go ahead and program it before you actually leave your office. But I thank you for dropping by and watching, and all the ones that was not able to be here and watching it after, I thank you too. And I will be here next Sunday showing how to set up a CPE to the AP to get internet to the AirCube.